Hey, take a few minutes to watch what some friends and I did 20 years ago at all the major motorcycle rallies. And if this doesn't make you proud to be an American, I'll give you all your money back. Blood, Sweat, and Gears Tour was the traveling fabrication show where we did all the major bike events. Daytona Beach Bike Week, Laughlin River Run, Myrtle Beach Bike Week, Laconia, New Hampshire, Sturgis, and we'd end the year at Biketoberfest in Daytona again, real close to home. And I had to put together a moving fabrication shop on a flatbed trailer, and it took months to put this whole deal together, but it was something I felt like I needed to do. And I think as you watch through the video, see that we did the right thing, and it was a lot of fun. The whole tour started when Isabel Ferrucci emailed me. Her husband Michael was deployed in Iraq, and she wanted me to make a sissy bar for his motorcycle as a surprise for him when he came home. And I thought about it for a few minutes, emailed her back and said, I'm going to do this for you, but we're going to do it in a big way that really shows how we appreciate what our military servicemen and women do for us here in the States.
It's because the military were able to live free the way we do. It was my way of saying thanks.
We were going to roll into Daytona Beach at Bike Week, and we needed a place to set up the Blood, Sweat, and Gears tour. So I called Michael Ballard from the Full Throttle Saloon. He had a set up on Main Street where everybody goes to hang out and really enjoy Bike Week. And he said, yeah, Billy, we'll give you everything you need to set up here. Come on, let's go, let's do this. And we got it done.
I got in Daryl Payne was right up in the front row with his wife, and he's having to be a machinist. So I told him, get up on stage, I'll put you to work.
Having Daryl's help was great, and I had him ball mill the sissy bar just like I ball milled the frame in the very first biker build-off I did. The reality is that Blood, Sweat, and Gears wasn't about me at all. It was about people and motorcycles and veterans and motorcycle lifestyle, and it was about rock and roll and bikes. And I was riding my 1949 Panhead that I was just in love with, and we'd go out at night and hit Main Street and the bike shows and the concerts and have fun and get a few hours of sleep and get up in the morning and try and show our appreciation for our military veterans and for everybody who supports what we do in the motorcycle business. And here's how much it's about people. Billy Velvet, who's the singer for the Crank County Daredevils, I met him in the early 1990s when we were in South Beach, Miami, riding from Rock and Roll Club to Rock and Roll Club on our Harley-Davidson Panheads. And he rear-ended me on his motorcycle, and I was on my Panhead at an intersection, and we got off our bikes and almost got into a fight, and we became friends, and we've been friends ever since.
I used to come here to Daytona Bike Week, and choppers weren't really that cool then. Everybody was riding Softails and custom FXRs. And I had my little 1950 Panhead, and I roll up in here. And it was everything on it was handmade because I didn't have any money to buy anything. And one guy asked me, hey man, will you make me some exhaust pipes like that? That was like my first custom job, it was pretty cool. And, I just started doing it because I couldn't afford anything, and then I started doing it because I wanted to get drunk and I needed beer money. And then it turned into a full-time living. I changed my whole life. So they were rolling around motorcycles and metal. I was standing on the way back, actually, and there's a big crowd and a lot of hype, and Billy's getting pulled in a lot of directions and stuff like that, and I can see him up there trying to make things happen. And then he's like, hey, there you are, I've been waiting for you, What's up, bro? How's it going? Good to see you. I'm more of a doer than a thinker, and I didn't think this whole deal through that well. And then he's like, hey, there you are, I've been waiting for you, What's up, bro? How's it going? Good to see you, man. I'm more of a doer than a thinker, and I didn't think this whole deal through that well. If people come and want to watch me doing this, what am I going to do while I'm working? How am I going to keep people interested for a couple hours? Because doing what I do isn't something you can just do in a few minutes. So I started thinking, man, I need some help here. I was kind of worried about these two guys not showing up because they started on the gas tank yesterday. I had a pretty good buzz going, so I wasn't really paying attention to what they were doing. I heard the man's name, but I didn't know who Kendall Johnson was. We went for a ride in Sturgis, and he's just a horsepower nut, which I happen to not be. And I was riding behind him, and he unloaded on his throttle and did about a 300-yard burnout. And I said, I gotta meet this guy. There he goes. And suicide ship, so, and then for a break, as a Brooklyn summer, I guess you guys know me. Larry would have been proud, but all the guys up in Brooklyn decided to build a tribute bike for him, and I was lucky enough to have been asked to be a part of that because Larry and I had become really good friends. So I went up there along with Kendall Johnson for a couple weeks in the November after his death, and we actually built him a beautiful tribute bike that we thought he'd be really proud of.
When you get the feed, you can't say any military words, you can't say Iraq, you can't say Special Forces, Army, nothing.
Okay.
If you do, they'll cut you off.
On stage, when we got done with Ferrucci's bike, we were able to send him through satellite link some photographs. You gotta talk loudly.
Hello?
Michael?
Yes, who's this? Isabel.
Remember I told you that I emailed Billy Lane?
Yeah.
Well, I am standing right now in Daytona with Billy Lane and your bike on stage. Right now.
Hey Mike, how are you?
Mr. Lane, how are you?
I've been doing this a long time, and I've hit deadlines, and I've been under pressure, and I never felt it like I felt getting Ferrucci's bike together for him, because one, I had to ride it from here to Savannah, and two, he had told me, and Isabel had told me how much it meant to him to get home and ride that bike. Once the Space Coast players will be chrome plating for us virtually every night. And if you want to know how they can do it every night, because I taught them. Because I was bringing everything. Hey, can I get this tomorrow? It's gonna take us 3 weeks, Billy. Okay, just as long as I can have it tomorrow. I never did it for money, and honestly, like my whole goal has always been to be able to do what I do for free for my friends. And I know he ain't my friend, but he's gonna be.
I took the Ferrucci's bike back to my shop after Daytona Bike Week, finished it, and jumped on the road and rode to Savannah, Georgia by myself. A lot of time to anticipate meeting him and all the Army Rangers up there in Savannah.
There's a lot of anticipation in something like this. I mean, it's a long ride. My phone's not ringing, nobody's talking to me. I'm just thinking while I'm riding, thinking, what's he gonna say? How's he gonna react? Is this gonna be as meaningful to them as I want it to be? And all those things are going through my head for hours.
How do you describe something like this? I haven't seen my bike in almost 4 months, and then Billy Lane's going to ride it in and give it to me. God, it's amazing. So I'm stoked.
Everyone gonna ride?
Wow, Billy, great job.
So nice to meet you.
That's what you got. How you doing?
Oh my God, that is unbelievable.
I got that feeling all over again. I got on the phone with him, but better because it's face to face and it's in person.
That thing was beautiful. And to have you here just made comments all over that. It's awesome.
I think every one of the guys there, everybody there felt it. You know, it wasn't just for him, it was for all of them. He just happened to be the one that was standing up in the front.
He's ready to ride.
Little thing to me, and it's just what I do.
I've liked Billy's work. I've liked all his bikes. I've been following him for years now. His generosity in support of the military is phenomenal. It's just, it speaks volumes of his character. Motorcyclists in general, kind of a different breed, and he personifies it.
I don't know how we pulled it off, but obviously Daytona was a success with the delivery of the bike to Michael Ferrucci in Savannah. So next stop was the Laughlin River Run in Laughlin, Nevada. Click Baldwin from Carolina Harley-Davidson gave us a Springer Softail to customize next and give away to some other military veteran. So I flew to Reno, and Aaron Green and I rode down from Reno to Vegas and then to Laughlin. And in Vegas, people were stopping us on the strip and asking us for pictures and autographs. It was really amazing. What a great day of riding with my buddy.
Scott, and I thought she'd be great. She's got a great personality. She's real outgoing. She's funny. Up and do that leather seat for us in Laughlin. And we also had Mondo, of course, from Denver's Choppers coming there. And Mondo is just a living legend. He's one of the last of the dinosaurs, as I like to call him. But he's one of those guys that's been biking since I was.
We're the guys best known for building the long choppers.
I picked the guys for Blood, Sweat, and Gears because they're individuals and they do their own thing. And Aaron does his own thing, and Paul does his own thing, and Mondo does his own thing, and so does Kendall. They don't build bikes that look like mine, and I don't build bikes that look like theirs. Aaron and Paul are two of the most twisted guys that are out there. That's what they did. They twisted up a wrench and put it on the sissy bar. And that was just really neat to see. It looks cool.
That's different.
We had a great time with the crowd on Laughlin, Nevada, and we cut and chopped that Harley-Davidson Softail Springer that Click Baldwin from Carolina Harley-Davidson had given us, but we just couldn't find the right person to give it to in the crowd. And instead of giving it to the wrong person, we decided we'd hang on to it, bring it with us to Myrtle Beach, which was the next stop. So I rode the bike all the way from Laughlin to Myrtle Beach, South Carolina at the Broken Spoke Saloon, which was going to be our next stop, and see if we could find somebody to give that thing to.
So we got any Marines out there by chance? You Marine? Hey, man, come over here. This is Corporal Williams, right? Yeah. I make a 6-gun product. It's kind of like a revolver from a pistol. I don't know if you guys have seen it or not, but I've been doing it for years. And he emailed me and asked me, we had these rings we were going to make. We actually never made them, but I had a couple prototypes. And he emailed me and asked me if you could get one. And I said, well, we don't make them, but I'll give you one because you're a Marine and you served our country and done so well for all of us. So I brought it here for you. I want to give it to you, man. And it's actually the only one that exists. So you have one and I don't. So that's how it works. Here you go, brother. Thank you, man. I appreciate it. Don't need to thank me. I'm thanking you.
I cracked a weld on the ride down here from Knoxville, and Billy's fixing it up for me.
And we'd even help people we met in the crowd who weren't military veterans that just needed our help. We'd do what we could for them, as always. I treated our Myrtle Beach crowd to a free viewing of the Wall of Death. A lot of these people were standing right next to it watching me work, but hadn't seen Wall of Death, so we all went in there and enjoyed it for a few minutes.
Crashed a motorcycle and a go-kart, and it's not as easy as it looks.
We didn't find a good recipient for the motorcycle in Myrtle Beach either, but I had to ride to Laconia, New Hampshire for the rally up there in June, where the weather is usually bad, but the people are amazing.
And the ride up there was just downpour, like one of the worst I've ever been caught in. But, you know, we did it. We had a job to do. We had to be there. So we just squint your eyes and keep rolling.
We hear Billy's coming up with the Blood, Sweat, and Gear tour, which again, I'll make it happen. I'll make it work because I want to be a part of this. First off, Laconia, New Hampshire rains probably 8 out of 10 years. So we knew we were going to be dealing with lots of rain, potentially lots of mud.
Dave Perewitz and I did a biker build-off show a few years ago, and he's a real meticulous guy when it comes to measuring, and I don't like to measure anything. I like to just eyeball things, and so we kind of had this ongoing joke and banter between the two of us. Hey Dave, I was just looking through the toolbox, and I found this, and I don't know what it is. Can you tell me what this is?
Well, all I can tell you is don't smash it. You might be able to use it.
It looks like some ancient tool. I don't know what this thing is.
When we have time, I'll show you how to use it.
Jay had us at the bottom of the hill in the Broken Spoke in Laconia, and the bottom of the hill meant this is the way the mud's coming. You know, who's gonna come stand out in this miserable weather, stand in 6 inches of mud, you know, barely can go get a beer because your feet don't want to move, and and watch us work on motorcycles. And we kicked off the show. We jump up on there, the curtains open, and that place was packed. We finished the softail that Carolina Harley-Davidson had given us in Laughlin. We knew we were going to give that bike away, hopefully in Laconia if we could find the right person, but it was done. I'm looking out in this sea of people, and they're all in rain suits and black leather, they're soaking wet, and here's this guy standing out in the back in this perfectly pressed green army uniform, covered in medals and a shining purple heart. Looks like you've done quite a bit of service over there. You got hurt in Iraq? What happened to you?
Roadside bombing.
A roadside bombing? Yes. Don't you just want to kill every one of those?
Riding the motorcycle up this ramp on the back of this trailer was really difficult, especially coming out of this muddy Laconia, New Hampshire lot that we were in. That rear tire was so slick and slippery, but I made it up.
As I told you guys when everybody first walked out earlier today, this tour we're doing is for our soldiers that are fighting for our freedom overseas in Iraq, Afghanistan, Middle East. You know, all you guys that are military vets and active service, active duty service, we appreciate it. So let's put our hands together for our soldiers. Yep. There we go. We got a guy wearing a Purple Heart down here. Just got back from Iraq. And I guess you're gonna get a motorcycle? You can try and get a motorcycle next year or two? If you get a bike, would you let me burn it out like that? You would? Well, why don't you get the fuck up here and sit on that one, because it's yours. We're giving it to you.
I talked to the guys on stage before we agreed to do this, you know, Dan Perewitz, Paul Cox, Aaron Green, and Kendall Johnson, about who we should give this to. We all agreed we should give it to Mark. He was wearing that Purple Heart. He'd suffered those injuries in Iraq and, you know, I mean, on his back and on the side of his head, and, you know, just felt like the right thing to do. And to me, this moment, his reaction when he accepted this motorcycle from us was just such a priceless moment. And I think anybody under that tent, anybody at the Broken Spoke Saloon that day, anybody watching the video now feels that it was such an amazing moment and the right thing to do. And definitely a special thanks to Jay Allen and his crew at the Broken Spoke Saloon, because they really made everybody feel welcome and took good care of us in that horrible weather. And the crowd at Laconia, I mean, Laconia has always been one of my favorite rallies. The people up there are just so nice. And just to see all of y'all participating in this moment with us was just one of those things I'll never forget for the rest of my life.
In my mind, I thought, is he doing what I think he's going to do? And sure enough, he undoes the Purple Heart right off his chest. And he reaches over to Billy and he said, I want you to have this. And he takes his Purple Heart and puts it in Billy's hand. It blew me away. I didn't expect that. I said to him, no, I can't take this. He's like, no, it's yours. I want you to have it. And I mean, it meant that much to him to take that off his chest and give it to us. And he definitely earned that. It just made me realize we're doing something really good here.
And as if that moment wasn't enough and that day wasn't enough for us, Jay Allen had Leonard Skinner playing the Broken Spoke Saloon in Laconia that night. So after we'd worked all day and kind of went through this emotional dump of everything that happened, we got to sit out and watch this band play that so many of us have listened to at bike rallies for so many years and was such a big part of me growing up. It's something I listened to in the shop for so many years while I was building my career and building my bikes and doing biker build-off. So to me, that this might have been the high point of the Blood, Sweat, and Gears tour in 2005. After what we'd just done in Laconia, I almost wish the tour could have ended right there, because it just felt like that had to be a high point. But we still had to go to Sturgis and Daytona Biketoberfest. And, you know, one of the things that I love about Blood, Sweat, and Gears, and especially this video, is this ride footage that we did out in Sturgis when we all got there, out by Bear Butte, is just beautiful. Shot from a helicopter before there was drones. And we were just out there riding on motorcycles and having a great time. And, you know, it was one of the things that I loved about this tour was we did a lot of riding together. Usually we go to a rally and everybody's doing their own thing, but we were all together and did a lot of riding. And this footage just kind of personifies how we all felt and that downtime that we had in between these events where we had so much hard work to do in such a short period of time. And if you get to go back and watch this video, I mean, you can just see all of us riding these bikes and talking about how it feels to each one of us. And it felt great for a few minutes, and then we were on our way from Laconia to Sturgis. Sturgis is a big rally. It's the Super Bowl of motorcycle rallies, and once we got there, we knew we had a big week ahead of us.
We had Arlin Ness, Cory Ness, legends like Arlin Fatland and Covington just stop by and say, "Hey man, let us come help you out." And loudly we welcomed them with open arms, and so did the crowd.
Big plus for me at Sturgis was the Army arranged for me to jump out of an airplane into the legendary Buffalo Chip Campground in Sturgis with the Army Golden Knights jump team. And this was amazing because these guys are just the absolute best, and they made me feel so comfortable. And I jumped with a guy named Billy V, and Billy V was great. And, you know, he explained everything to me, and he told me, you know, the levels of safety that they have, so that you pretty much know you're going to land on the ground on your feet. And I said, well, what happens if none of those things work? And he said, well, what's going to happen is you're going to be in front of me. So hopefully when we land, your body takes most of the impact and maybe I survive. And I thought that was just the funniest thing. But jumping out of that plane into the Buffalo Chip was cool. The view from above of Sturgis and the Buffalo Chip was amazing because I'd been there so many years but had never seen it from 13,000 feet when we jumped out of that plane. So this was just something that was completely unexpected. And when I got the opportunity to do it, I said, hell yeah, I'll do it. And, you know, I couldn't have done it with a greater bunch of people. Jumping with the Army Golden Knights was amazing. I want to say thank you to them 20 years later because this is a moment I'll never forget.
If you drink with them, you carry you home.
Take one tablet every 30 seconds? Oh, then shit. So I picked him to use my bike too. And then I said, hey, you want to swap? And that moved for exactly way. That's the way home and down until the end of the day. James were off, Tony Springer, and Chris took our custom that we were working on. Let's honor the vets. Let's take care of our guys. They're taking care of us. I like the hell out of that. I had no idea that he was doing that on his own.
The line of service, you know, you don't get toys like this because you don't get paid much either. So, you know, not only ever be able to ever afford something like this, you know, you had trouble supporting, you know, the common Harleys. So for him to give this back to the troops is just really, it's awesome.
Bike is not just about bikes, it's about people. And it's about people helping other people out. And I think that might be the connection between the military and bikes. I mean, those military guys, you know, they depend on each other for their comfort, their safety, and their lives. And in a way, motorcycles is the same way. I mean, you know, you can be out on the side of the highway and you're out there and you're on your own. You know, you're walking or pushing or whatever it may be. And I think maybe that's the connection that gets people that why military guys love bikes so much. I mean, it's kind of that kind of camaraderie. And that definitely, you saw it in Sturgis with James and Chris.
It's hard to believe it's almost over as we roll out of Sturgis, but we're headed to Daytona for Biketoberfest at Bruce Rossmeyer's Harley-Davidson.
If you're into bikes at all, by summertime you've heard of blood, sweat, and gears. And we customize a bike for a guy. We've given one away to somebody else. We've given another one away in Sturgis, and here we are getting ready to roll into Biketoberfest in Daytona. And John Sack contacts us. And he gives us something we haven't seen yet, which is his son Brandon, who was killed in Iraq.
I mean, is it basically just assembly, or is there some fab work still to do?
Fab work wise, the sheet metal I think gets you tomorrow morning. There's a front fender, back fender. Like there's no, I think we have plenty of time because I did a lot of pre-work. The frame's powder coated. I whiz wheeled all the metal surfaces that can be whiz wheeled so that it's motor functional. And then tap the holes out.
The plan is it's got a fire Saturday, right?
Trying to get a driveline set up in this bike. You pretty much have 3 days to work, 3 hours a day, so it gives 9 hours total time. It's never like there's too much time, you know what I'm saying?
People just really came together for us. Ryan Edwards showed up and hand-tooled a leather seat for Brandon Sapp's motorcycle right there on site at Destination Daytona at Biketoberfest.
He wanted a portrait of Brandon airbrushed on the gas tank. You guys put your hands together. John Kosmowski created House of Color Paint. He's one of the greatest painters in the world, and that goes to show you what Blood, Sweat, and Gears have become. You know, we got the greatest bike mechanics in the world working with us, and now we're getting one of the greatest painters in the world.
We didn't have a lot of time. We started on it last Wednesday, and to give you an idea, he shipped all the parts in one box. We had a little body work to do. He was in a hurry getting this stuff to us, but he gave me a challenge. He said, I want a military paint job commemorative to Brandon. And so I'd never done anything like this before, so he just said, look, you're the artist, do it. We're going to start off, we're going to show you your gas tank. And I know, so we put the USA on the front fender. Then I went to one of my friends who's probably the ultimate muralist for faces in the world. I'm going to show you him in uniform on the back fender.
The airbrush portrait of Brandon Sapp on this gas tank was absolutely stunning.
Patrick and Timothy were two friends of Brandon's who fought with him and who had become like his best friends over there. And they came up on stage to look at the bike once we'd started getting it kind of in its final stages of assembly. The portrait that Kosmowski and his crew had painted on the gas tank was so realistic and so lifelike.
When you're building a bike in honor of somebody who lost their son, Biketoberfest was very emotional. It was very emotional.
Are you ready to start? Yeah. Tim, you want me to come up and turn the key on the bike or something, see if we can get it fire up? Are you ready? Give it a shot, let's go.
Oh man, I love it.
Yeah. Cheers.
I'm still friends with all these people 20 years later, except obviously the ones who aren't with us anymore. I'd like to give them a mention. Ryan Edwards, the seat maker, Wall of Death rider Samantha Morgan, custom bike builder Arlin Ness, custom bike builder Jerry Covington, Click Baldwin from Carolina Harley-Davidson, Bruce Rossmeyer from Daytona Harley-Davidson, Destination Daytona. I mean, so many people came together to make this happen. Yeah, it was my idea, and I'm the one that put up the money to do it, but it wasn't at all about me. All these people came together, put together their time, their energy, their resources, and truly showed the American spirit and showed what it means to be a proud American. And I'd like to thank Darcy Betlock for being the tour manager and helping me put all this together, Casey Cassidy for shooting all the footage and coordinating all the cameras, and Jason Edwards who produced this for us. Without him, this couldn't have happened.